Hello, moms. If we haven't met before, my name is Sarah Legband, and I help lead Substance Moms here at Substance Church. And I'm so excited that it's fall because fall means that we relaunch all of our mom groups here. And we have so much planned and in store for you this year. We as Substance Moms have a mission for your group of moms that are gathering together, and it's this: that over the course of this season, you would experience three things. One, you would grow in real life community with one another. I think it is so important that we just start right off the bat and say, we're all moms just trying to make it through. We want to be authentic, we want to be real, and we want to be able to come to the table and say, this is what I'm going through and I need help. And that we're there to help one another because none of us have figured this out. And that's why we all need each other. Number two, that you'd grow closer to Jesus. I really believe that everything begins with a relationship with Jesus. Because the more we realize that Jesus helps us through our parenting, He equips us, He strengthens us, the more that we can parent in peace, with hope, with joy, with love, even during the really, really hard times. And you know, Jesus changes everything. Let's just be real. And so that's why it's so important that Mom's Group is all about growing closer with Jesus. And then the third thing is that you'd be equipped and encouraged to raise up kingdom kids. You know, for our kids to thrive in the future, we know more than anything else that they need a deep relationship with Jesus and the ability to spread His love with everybody around them. I mean, that's number one. And so that's why we have added that to our mission for your groups. So this is our heart for you. This is why Substance Moms exists, so that you'd grow deeper in community, deeper with Jesus, and that you'd be equipped and encouraged to grow up kingdom kids. Well, every year we have a theme that kind of sets the foundation for our year. And this year our theme is Abundantly Fruitful. The verse this comes from is Colossians 1, verse 10. And it says, so that you may live a life worthy of the Lord and please Him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work. So can you imagine with me just for a second what your life would look like if it was abundantly fruitful? I mean, I envision myself waking up in the morning to the smell of coffee that my children have perfectly prepared for me. And I get up and I walk to my chair that I'm going to have my Jesus time. My children bring down my cup of coffee, and then they quietly leave after they kiss me on the head, and they go upstairs, and they perfectly quietly get ready for the day while I am spending uninterrupted, silent time talking to Jesus. They're brushing their teeth on their own. They're setting the table for breakfast. They're getting dressed in all of the clothes that I would pick out. I mean, it would be beautiful. They'd even maybe take a little time to make their bed or water the plants. Then after a delicious, nutritious, fully balanced meal of like carbs, of healthy fats, protein, of course, then we'd all get together and we'd go out for a walk and we'd pick some flowers because we're going to deliver those to the neighbors nearby and wish them a blessed day. Wouldn't that be abundantly fruitful? Like, I know that our days don't look like that. I mean, there are some parts of our days that could look like that. But all joking aside, I think it's so important to realize that God truly does want our lives to bear fruit, and not just any fruit, good fruit. He has good fruit for us. You know, in the scripture I just read, it says bearing fruit actually pleases God. You know, I think it's amazing that our lives are actually meant to be more about pleasing Him than pleasing ourselves. But I'm going to stop there and leave that for another message because I could dive all sorts into some different things to talk about with that, and I want to. But for today, I want to talk about bearing fruit, living an abundant life, and where it starts. How does this all begin? I mean, wouldn't it be great if we just had a formula that we could follow that would bear us good fruit? Like, how do we bear good fruit? Well, God says, do this, this, this. And hey, wouldn't we all do it? You know, margin is a buzzword these days, right? We need to have margin. We need to have transition. We need to have margin for this, margin for that. What if we just had enough margin in our lives? I would think that would bear good fruit. Or what about just making more money? Okay, wouldn't that solve a lot of our problems and bring us more peace? Or maybe it's solid friendships. Like if I have the right community and the right friendships, I'm golden. Or how about just eating healthier, taking better care of ourselves? You know, every fall, just being authentic with you, I really have a plan and I try to get more organized. Anybody else out there who isn't like naturally organized but really wants to be and knows that your life would be easier if you were? Yep, that's me. You know, we could think of a million ways to make our lives better. And truth be told, all of those things are really good things. But the truth is, it is not my perfectly balanced schedule that brings good fruit into my life. It is not a romantic marriage. It is not the dream job or the kids that never argue and fight. According to Colossians 1:9 through 10, fruit comes from this. Are you ready? This is the golden nugget that I have for you today. This is where fruit comes, and this is the launching pad for our whole season. Fruit comes from knowing God's will for our lives and living in it. Okay, and I just want you to listen to how this scripture is played out. It says, we have not stopped praying for you and asking God to fill you with the knowledge of His will through all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that you may live a life worthy of the Lord and may please Him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work. Okay, I'm not talking about knowing if it's God's will, if I should start eating keto, okay? I'm not talking about, is it God's will if we move houses? I'm not talking about, is it God's will if I should travel to sunny Mexico in the dead of winter? I mean, we all know that this is really God's will for our lives, right? But really, I am talking about knowing the will of God that saturates the pages of the Bible. God's will that says, love one another as I have loved you. That we have no other gods before Him. That we serve each other. That we seek God's face above everything else. That we live in gratitude and thanksgiving. That we honor one another above ourselves. And the list goes on and on. That is the heart of God. That is the will of God. And as we get in connection with Jesus, in relationship with Him, and we start to really put on the things of Christ and live and walk in His will and walk in His ways, fruit is produced naturally. And as we grow closer with Him, it begins to come out in abundance, in abundance. But please hear me clearly, okay? This doesn't mean that we have to live perfectly. I mean, heaven knows we can't. There's just no way. I mean, that's the reality. However, it does mean living connected to the vine. Okay, John 15:5 says, and this is Jesus speaking, I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. If we remain in Him and He in us, then we will bear much fruit. It's that connection. It's that relationship. It's knowing the heart of God. It's knowing how much He loves us. It's loving Him back. It's all about relationship. So Joshua and I have been married for 20 years this summer. Woohoo! And one of the things that I love as I continue growing in relationship with Josh and in connection with him is that my love continues to grow. And as my love continues to grow for him, my desire to please him increases, right? I mean, let me just tell you a little bit about, give you a little snippet into the life of our family. So Josh loves a clean car. Maybe not so much in the inside. I mean, he likes that too, but really on the outside. And it would probably be rare that you would see our car on the outside dirty. Why? Because he bought the unlimited wash package at Holiday Gas Station. So I'm telling you, even when the car isn't dirty, it's like, hey, it's unlimited. So we are going through the car wash all the time. Now, when I was growing up, going through the car wash was a big deal. I mean, you go through and you're like, there's all the soap and the colors and the lights and the things keep hitting the car and the car doesn't get damaged. And you're like entering into this vault of something magical happening. So it was like so much fun when I was a kid. But our kids, oh no. We start driving up to Holiday and our kids are like, not the car wash. And I'm like, come on. This is like a blessing to be able to wash our cars all the time. Oh my gosh, it cracks me up. So anyway, sorry. It's just so real. It happens all the time. So now you guys, you know what I do? I try, if I can, I really try to get to the car wash before I get home so that Josh sees that, oh, I went through the car wash, and you know, that blesses him. It makes him feel good. It's like a way that I can please him. And so that's what happens. Like, as our relationship grows, my desire for things that he loves, he wants, grows, and I want to do those things and please him. I like having our car clean, but I really could care less with going through the car wash although that many times. But it's the same with the Lord. It's the same with Jesus. As our love grows with him, as we grow in relationship with him, our desires to do what he wills, to do what he wants, not just what we want, grows. And so as that grows, ultimately good fruit is continued to be produced. So in the future weeks, I plan to unpack all of this more for us. But for today, I just want to leave you with this encouragement. Friends, God has abundant fruitfulness planned for you and your lives this year. So I want you to be expectant for it. Look for it. Be ready for it. Because his heart is for you to produce good fruit because it ultimately pleases him. And you know, I think he may even surprise us this year with what that might actually look like in your life. You might think you have an idea of what abundant fruit looks like in your life, but God has a better idea and he has a better plan. And we just get to wait and see what that is as we grow in relationship with him. You know, who knows? You might even wake up one morning to the smell of coffee and your children bringing it down to you. And you being able to sit and have quiet Jesus time. I mean, you guys, anything is possible. So, blessings to all of you. I'm going to release you into discussion time now with your group, and I can't wait to spend the rest of the season with you. Be blessed.